Hey, how y'all doing? This is Josh Smith calling in from Professional Technology Solutions.
Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh B's with us as well. Josh is a great American. Now, this guy's got a big brain now. When it comes to technology, he's on the cutting edge. And I
Yeah.
tell you, we've been talking about keeping our heads on swivels. You can't tell the players without a program. Josh, in your world, man, there are a lot of bad people that can come right into your home, into your business, and steal your stuff, man. I mean, you're talking about a world where you got to keep your head on a swivel. You live in that world, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I deal with it every day. I think my primary focus is cybersecurity. I did my degree in digital forensics years ago. I worked with the United States government for several years doing cybersecurity. Now I'm out in the civilian world doing cybersecurity. And I tell you what, this right now is the most dangerous time than we've ever had when it comes to the Internet of Things. And I'm sure you guys can imagine some of the things I'm talking about here, but I can go on with a few bullet points of this war on Russia. It's not just being fought in the streets. That's just what the major media outlets are reporting. There's a war going on the internet that most people don't even have any idea exists.
Okay, Josh, I want you to explain that to the people listening out there and watching the program. And I don't know if the guns and the bombs and the if that's just a distraction or a part of this, but it certainly is taking our attention.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like made for TV. I mean,
It is made for
it's
TV.
family viewing. It's having dinner around the TV with the family, watching a war on TV. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So what's going on there, Josh? Explain it.
So the war that's going on right now is similar to what the United States did when we invaded Iraq in 2001. I'll come back to that point, but first I want to talk about Ukraine. It has been broken that malware was detected in Ukraine as early as January with a source from Russia. So what that means is a piece of malware called Hermetic Wiper was detected in government, contractor, and financial systems as early as January, coming from Russian sources. So to go in a little deeper than that, someone in Russia, most likely the States, attacked different systems in Ukraine way before they put boots on the ground and invaded the country. Almost a month and a half before that happened. This is proven. It's online. It has been. The story was broke yesterday, and I want to kind of explain what that means.
All right, now let me stop you
So a
just
minute
a
ago,
Josh. Let me stop you
okay.
just a moment here. All right. So to lay the groundwork, the first step in a traditional war is you may want a bombing campaign to soften things up on the front line for the ground troops to come in. But in the modern world we live in, that is now done by a cyber attack, is what you're
Right.
saying.
Right.
That's, I guess it confuses things. Something's going on. We're not real sure about it. You got your head down. You look up and there are bombs falling, sort of a thing. Is that anywhere close to what happened?
Oh, you're exactly right. When I referenced the United States doing it to Iraq in 2001, that's exactly what we did, and that Russia is playing by our rules for what they did to Ukraine. So let me take a step back and explain what we did in 2001. When the United States invaded Iraq in 2001, we went after their public utility system, their electricity and their water and their communication, and we completely shut that down. They were in 3 days of darkness, and the Iraqi military, they just gave up. Within 3 days, they gave up, and then as you know and everybody else knows, the war in Iraq and Afghanistan was fought as a guerrilla-style warfare. We were basically fighting people not in uniform, because the military gave up. So before we invaded, before we did our shock and awe, because that's how we invaded Iraq, we hacked into their infrastructure. We shut down their power, water, communications, and that's what Russia has done with Ukraine. It wasn't proven until this piece of malware was detected. Again, it's called hermetic wiper. And that is what we will see going forward. Over the past 10 years, we've seen in the news, the wars of the future will not be fought with traditional weapons. They won't. They will be fought on the internet.
And most people,
And again,
and Josh, most
it's
people, let,
proven now.
let me jump in with you from one second. Most people hear that and they're going, come on, man. I use the internet, thanks to Al Gore, to order Canadian Vicodin or to visit adult websites. Well, there's a world out there. And when we hear cyber war, here's a question for you, Josh. The rhetoric that we hear about cyber war is, am I close to being accurate on this? It's an ongoing state-centered battle for control of information.
It is definitely ongoing. It is an evolving world. You know, it's always changing. Let me go back to around 10 to 15 years ago. The United States government pushed out mandates to civilian-owned companies in the United States. They said, if you are in certain niches or certain markets, you have to abide by our cybersecurity policies. Those niches are power, water, any type of utility system that civilians rely on. The reason they identified those is because those are mandatory for American life. If our internet went down, if our cell phones stopped working, if we lost power, if we lost water, the United States would be extremely vulnerable. We wouldn't be able to operate the way that we are now. We would definitely not be able to defend ourselves to an outside invasion. So the government pushed out these mandates that required civilian companies to abide by. And over the past couple of years, I've been working with numerous companies, helping them get to that standard. For example, today, I'm driving back from Nashville, Tennessee to Jackson, Tennessee, where I spent the week helping a customer with their cybersecurity policy, upgrading their computers to a more secure system from Windows 7 to Windows 10. So people might think there's this warfare that these conspiracy theorists are referring to, and I don't have to worry about it at all. And that's not true. That's not true at all. You do have to worry about it. There are things that the homeowner can do, the end user can do, the business owner can do, and then, of course, major industry can do. There are things that need to be done to protect yourself, but most people don't understand how to do it and the significance of it.
Josh, and B's there as well. Let me say this, and I want you to respond to it. If we end up in war, a real shooting war with a major power, it's going to be a consequence of a cyber breach of great consequence. That's what Biden said a few months ago. Now tensions are soaring over Ukraine, with Western officials warning about the danger of Russia launching damaging cyber attacks against Ukraine's NATO allies. That includes us. While no one is suggesting that that could lead to a full-blown war between nuclear-armed rivals, the risk of escalation is serious, and we were on the brink back in the 60s, with the Cuban Missile Crisis. And somehow, some way, we made it through that. Although that a nuclear submarine that was armed with missiles, with nuclear warheads, the Soviet Union had that in the Caribbean, just off of the U.S. shore. And we were dropping, naval ships were dropping what's called depth charges to try and get those submarines to surface. Mm-hmm. And so it took 3 guys on that submarine, the captains, to all agree to hit that button to launch a nuclear bomb. into the U.S. 2 of the 3 wanted to do it because they were convinced, because they'd lost communication to Moscow because of those death charges. 2 of the 3 wanted to hit that button because they were convinced that World War III had broken out above surface.
Right.
That one guy, no kidding, said no. Or that button would have been pushed back in the early 60s. Now when you start talking about cyber security, cyber attacks, what runs all this stuff? Computers. Josh, can you hold just a second through a short break, and I want you to respond to that. Do you mind?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Mr. B. You guys stay right there, and we'll be right back. It's a pleasure to have you along with us today here on the program. And listen, yes, we're making you nervous, but just life on Earth is... Hey, look, I never smoked a cigarette because a camel wearing sunglasses told me to.
Right.
I smoke because I'm nervous. All right, so here we go.
All right, now we know.
We'll be right back.
Save the green this month on new Fords. Hi, this is Sarah Beth Langley at Jean Langley Ford in Humboldt. Larry the Leprechaun knows if you've been waiting for a sign to buy a new car, truck, or SUV, today is your lucky day. Choose from inventory on the lot, online, or customize your own at JeanLangleyFord.com. Plus, free lifetime warranty and guaranteed credit. This is the month to save some green on all new Fords. You really should try Jean Langley Ford before you buy. The dealership service build.
If someone is nice enough to bring you Mickey D's fries, don't get all in your feelings when you get hit with that fry tax. You knew what you signed up for. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Every pest control company has access to the same products. The southeastern difference is the way we go to market. We don't believe that you should have to take out a bank loan to protect your home. You have more value to us as a lifelong customer, not as a one-and-done sale from a slick salesman. We can still be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Termite and pest control, fungus and moisture barriers for crawl spaces, attic installation, or just about anything else. Our services are guaranteed. 731-660-1052.
Family owned and operated for 20 years. Real Foot Metal is coverage you can count on. Property owners, architects, or contractors. Real Foot Metal has the products and services for your residential, commercial, and industrial needs. Real Foot Metal, proudly serving West Tennessee.
The hunt for your next home will be a life-changing experience. To get started on your journey,
list with Greer.com.
The Greer Real Estate Group.
List with Greer.com.
From first contact to the closing table, our clients know that they're in good hands.
List with Greer.com.
Assisting clients and preparing their homes for the market.
List with Greer.com.
First time or seasoned homebuyer. To find your next home.
List with Greer.com.
Or to sell your home. Take our advice.
List with Greer.com.
When it comes to new beginnings, you're at home with the Greer Real Estate Group.
If you're looking for a licensed, insured, and locally owned company to maintain your property, then look no further. We are equipped to handle small residential or commercial properties to large industrial and school properties. We perform basic mowing services, sod installation, landscape design and construction, aeration, overseeding, drainage work, irrigation repair, low voltage lighting installation and repair, snow and ice removal, and turnkey grounds maintenance for year-round service, weed and fertilizer programs. Contact us for a quote or a complete property maintenance bid. Reliable Lawn Care and Landscaping are proud to be the lawn care and maintenance company for all 130 acres of the University School of Jackson. Go Bruins!
King Jewelers is not your typical run-of-the-mill jewelry store. Grover is a certified jeweler with 35 years experience. This isn't just a jewelry store. It's an iconic symbol of love. How far would you go for love? King Jewelers, 16B Conrad Drive, Jackson.
Are you struggling with lack of libido? Having trouble losing the belly fat? Having trouble sleeping? Lack of daytime energy? I was suffering from all these things, and several months ago, I decided to do something about it. I called Dr. Shannon Bone at Advanced Rehab and Medical. A simple test can change your life. It did for me. So call Dr. Shannon Bone, do what I did, and ask if BioTE is right for you. You'll be glad you did.
You could be missing out on hundreds of dollars in savings. Switch to Shanna Tabor Farmers Insurance, and you could save an average of $450 on your home insurance. Shanna provides exceptional homeowners, auto, life, and business insurance products and services. Shanna Tabor Farmers Insurance.
For nearly 30 years, Cambridge Limited has been the place where West Tennesseans come for their dress clothes needs. We are so thankful for the many customers who have stood by us through the years and allowed us to play such a special role in the biggest moments of their lives. Our customer service is unparalleled, and our tailors work around the clock to ensure that your clothes are custom fit to you. With no suit in the store more than $259, there is something for everybody here at Cambridge. Come and see what we are all about, or give us a call to book your own wedding appointment today at Cambridge.
One bite of your hot and deliciously juicy Quarter Pounder with cheese, and you'll never forget to ask for extra napkins. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Struck him out! And that's the ball game! Center field. Back on his horse at the track. At the wall. This ball is gone.
Save the green this month on new Fords. Hi, this is Sarah Beth Langley at Jean Langley Ford in Humboldt. Larry the Leprechaun knows if you've been waiting for a sign to buy a new car, truck, or SUV, today is your lucky day. Choose from inventory on the lot, online, or customize your own at JeanLangleyFord.com. Plus, free lifetime warranty and guaranteed credit. This is the month to save some green on all new Fords. You really should try Jean Langley Ford before you buy. The dealership service build.
If someone is nice enough to bring you Mickey D's fries, don't get all in your feelings when you get hit with that fry tax. You knew what you signed up for. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Every pest control company has access to the same products. The southeastern difference is the way we go to market. We don't believe that you should have to take out a bank loan to protect your home. You have more value to us as a lifelong customer, not as a one-and-done sale from a slick salesman. We can still be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Termite and pest control, fungus and moisture barriers for crawl spaces, attic installation, or just about anything else. Our services are guaranteed. 731-660-1052.
Family owned and operated for 20 years. Reelfoot Metal is coverage you can count on. Property owners, architects, or contractors. Reelfoot Metal has the products and services for your residential, commercial, and industrial needs. Reelfoot Metal, proudly serving West Tennessee.
The hunt for your next home will be a life-changing experience. To get started on your journey,
List with Greer.com.
the Greer Real Estate Group.
List with Greer.com.
From first contact to the closing table, our clients know that they're in good hands,
List with Greer.com.
assisting clients and preparing their homes for the market.
List with Greer.com.
First-time or seasoned homebuyer to find your next home
List with Greer.com.
or to sell your home. Take our advice.
List with Greer.com.
When it comes to new beginnings, you're at home with the Greer Real Estate Group.
If you're looking for a licensed, insured, and locally owned company to maintain your property, then look no further. We are equipped to handle small residential or commercial properties to large industrial and school properties. We perform basic mowing services, sod installation, landscape design and construction, aeration, overseeding, drainage work, irrigation repair, low voltage lighting installation and repair, snow and ice removal, and turnkey grounds maintenance for year-round service, weed and fertilizer programs. Contact us for a quote or a complete property maintenance bid. Reliable Lawn Care and Landscaping are proud to be the lawn care and maintenance company for all 130 acres of the University School of Jackson. Go Bruins!
King Jewelers is not your typical run-of-the-mill jewelry store. Grover is a certified jeweler with 35 years experience. This isn't just a jewelry store. It's an iconic symbol of love. How far would you go for love? King Jewelers, 16B Conrad Drive, Jackson.
Are you struggling with lack of libido? Having trouble losing the belly fat? Having trouble sleeping? Lack of daytime energy? I was suffering from all these things, and several months ago, I decided to do something about it. I called Dr. Shannon Bone at Advanced Rehab and Medical. A simple test can change your life. It did for me. So call Dr. Shannon Bone, do what I did, and ask if BioTE is right for you. You'll be glad you did.
You could be missing out on hundreds of dollars in savings. Switch to Shanna Tabor Farmers Insurance, and you could save an average of $450 on your home insurance. Shanna provides exceptional homeowners, auto, life, and business insurance products and services. Shanna Tabor Farmers Insurance.
For nearly 30 years, Cambridge Limited has been the place where West Tennesseans come for their dress clothes needs. We are so thankful for the many customers who have stood by us through the years and allowed us to play such a special role in the biggest moments of their lives. Our customer service is unparalleled, and our tailors work around the clock to ensure that your clothes are custom fit to you. With no suit in the store more than $259, there is something for everybody here at Cambridge. Come and see what we are all about, or give us a call to book your own wedding appointment today at Cambridge.
One bite of your hot and deliciously juicy Quarter Pounder with cheese, and you'll never forget to ask for extra napkins. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Struck him out! And that's the ball game! Average. Center field. Back on his horse at the track. At the wall. This ball is gone.
Save the green this month on new Fords. Hi, this is Sarah Beth Langley at Jean Langley Ford in Humboldt. Larry the Leprechaun knows if you've been waiting for a sign to buy a new car, truck, or SUV, today is your lucky day. Choose from inventory on the lot, online, or customize your own at JeanLangleyFord.com. Plus, free lifetime warranty and guaranteed credit. This is the month to save some green on all new Fords. You really should try Jean Langley Ford before you buy. The dealership service build.
If someone is nice enough to bring you Mickey D's fries, don't get all in your feelings when you get hit with that fry tax. You knew what you signed up for. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Every pest control company has access to the same products. The southeastern difference is the way we go to market. We don't believe that you should have to take out a bank loan to protect your home. You have more value to us as a lifelong customer, not as a one-and-done sale from a slick salesman. We can still be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Termite and pest control, fungus and moisture barriers for crawl spaces, attic insulation, or just about anything else. Our services are guaranteed. 731-660-1052.
Family owned and operated for 20 years. Reelfoot Metal is coverage you can count on. Property owners, architects, or contractors. Reelfoot Metal has the products and services for your residential, commercial, and industrial needs. Reelfoot Metal, proudly serving West Tennessee.
The hunt for your next home will be a life-changing experience. To get started...
Welcome back to the program. Pardon me for that interruption. Which we got USA baseball tonight.
All right.
Yay! And the analytics of that and the logistics and all. Laura was putting those together, so I was helping her. Now, we've got on the line with us Mr. B, which we appreciate his patience, and we appreciate all the energy he puts into
coming on the show.
uncovering these. What he's been labeled a conspiracy theorist, and for the people that label this man a conspiracy theorist, I think you're onto a conspiracy here. So how does that taste? And to look at our government and look at, Brandon Biden, to look at some of these, Donald Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, how did we get to this point after coming out of World War II as the world's only superpower? It's like our leaders had to reverse Midas touch. Everything they've touched has turned to crap.
The reverse Midas touch.
For
That was
us,
good, Dan.
but not for them.
Yeah.
And also we have Josh Smith on the line.
Yeah.
Josh, who is a very talented man when it comes to computers, when it comes to the internet, when it comes to technology, when it comes to security, cybersecurity. And Josh, before you answer the question, I'll lay it out again for you. But tell them the name of your company quickly before we get into that. Do you mind?
Sure. So my company is Professional Technology Solutions. We focus on website design, search engine optimization. We do cybersecurity, data recovery, those sort of things.
And they do. His company does a lot of work for us, and they are the absolute best.
Awesome.
The absolute best. Josh, how would someone reach you?
Well, the easiest thing is my website, professionaltechnologysolutions.com. You can contact me through there. You can email me through there. I'm active on social media. I do have a Facebook account. It's Professional Technology Solutions. I'm active on there. I respond. So those are the easiest things to get in contact with me.
All right, Josh. Before we went to that break, and B, I want you to jump in after Josh lays this out. But tensions right now, as we all know, soaring over Ukraine, and as Western officials are warning about the danger of Russia launching a damaging cyber attack. They've already done it to Ukraine, but now NATO allies, specifically the United States, while no one is suggesting that could lead to a full-blown war between nuclear-armed rivals, the risk of escalation is serious. And with all that technology tied into those little red buttons that fire those missiles, Josh, we hear about the what's that called? The clock, doomsday clock.
Yeah.
And it's
how many minutes to midnight?
How many? I think we're down to seconds now. To minutes. It's as bad as it's ever been. The doomsday clock. Josh, what's your thoughts on this and the dangers, how serious this is when we talk about cyber attacks and cyber war?
I want to touch the question you asked before we went to break. You said,
Josh, I think Josh, let me jump. I think you may be under a cyber attack right now. You're going in and out. Let's try it again. We lost you there for a minute. Josh, are you there?
I am here. I'm traveling right now, so I barely have any cell service. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay, great. If I do lose you, I apologize. But I wanted to touch base on the question you asked before we went on break. Everybody's worried that this war is going to spill out outside of the boundary of Ukraine. And I can tell you, in the cybersecurity realm, it already has. The malware that I mentioned earlier, Hermetic Wiper, has already been detected in Belarus and Lithuania. And it's obvious that would happen. When you do a cyber attack on anyone, the internet knows no boundaries. You cannot just pinpoint an attack at a specific location and keep your fingers crossed that it doesn't spill out to innocent bystanders. The United States did the same thing with Stuxnet, and we developed that to go after the centrifuges in Iran when they were developing their nuclear weapons. Stuxnet was spread out all over the world. There's no way to keep an attack specific to one location when it comes to the internet.
Right.
So the United States already knows this. Hermetic wiper is, like I said, been detected in Belarus and Lithuania. So as of yesterday, the United States and Canada reinstated their cybercrime forum to prevent Russian cyber attacks. They reinstated this forum yesterday. The United States knows that Russia is doing cyber attacks outside of Ukraine. The United States and Canada have banded together to try to mitigate this risk. So, back to your original question, will this spill outside of Ukraine? It already has. The United States knows it has. The big question is, what steps are we going to take next? Will we go the de-escalation route, or will a big bad United States pump up their chest and be the aggressor?
Well, just something else to make you nervous. But Josh, is AI? We're being told. We were told by Hollywood back in 1984 that AI, with the Terminator, one day the computers were going to take over. Of course, in 1984, you look at it and you're going like, "Hey, geez, man, I loved it. This nonfiction or this fictional character with the Terminator and and now you're going, geez, this could happen.
This could get weird.
And we're being warned today that when the computers, these supercomputers, when they become, they're already smarter than we are, but at some point, with the knowledge and the self-awareness that they'll have, they are going to determine that their survival depends on eliminating their enemies, and we could be easily considered enemy number one, and they'll be using these the cyber world to mount that attack. Is that fictional? Is that something that belongs in movies like The Terminator? Or are these things that could actually happen? Do we need to be thinking about this? And is it too late to unring the bell? Is it too late to put the cow back in the barn? Because I don't think people are going to say, you know what, we probably ought to just go ahead and blow up the internet. It's nice to be able to, log on to Pornhub. It's nice to be able to go ahead and order your Vicodin from a Canadian pharmacy. That's all really nice, but we probably ought to secure the survival of mankind. We probably ought to go ahead and do away with that. It's too late for all that. We're not going to put that cow back in the barn, are we? And how serious is this?
I'm going to tell you that we are past the point of no return. We are not going back to a time of no internet. That will not happen. The internet is evolving. We're actually getting an internet 2.0, which will be more decentralized than it is. I don't know if you know this. Most people don't. But our internet is pretty much controlled.
Yeah.
Most people think that the internet is just the wild, wild west and anything can happen on it, and that is not true.
Controlled by who?
For example, it's controlled by the states. It's controlled by a handful of DNS servers that exist around the world that replicate our data. You take those out, or you control those, and you control the entire internet.
So,
Josh,
Josh, let me add this before you go to. So, with that being the case, that tells me that the governments are more powerful than ever before, right?
Absolutely, there's no question there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go right ahead.
So my example is in China, they completely control the media. They completely control the internet. There are certain things that we can find on the internet here in the United States that they cannot find on the internet in China.
Right.
And people might think I'm crazy, and that's not crazy at all. Let's just look at something that you might think is absurd. The movie Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox. That movie is non-existent on the internet in China.
Uh-huh.
You know why? Because it references time travel.
Time travel. Yeah. Yeah.
It does. It references time travel. The Communist Party says that is impossible, so they will not allow it. They don't want that consumed by their population.
Oh, okay, now that's confusing. So that tells me that the time travel must be
That's
really
right.
possible. Is that the case?
Well, time travel to an extent is possible. Time ticks forward at different paces. Astronauts away from our gravity, the time
Right.
ticks forward at a different pace. You know,
Right.
that's proven. Time forward is easier to obtain at a millisecond level. Time in reverse is impossible. No one has cracked that code yet. But there's been numerous studies over the years about time travel in forward. There's a couple of, I think they were actually Russian, these two twins. One was an astronaut. I think they were both astronauts, but in the study, one went into the space station and he stayed for an extended period of time. When he returned, he had aged at a different time frame than his twin that was still on Earth. So,
Yeah.
you know, time travel, that's a big conversation. That's a deep analytical conversation. But
Well, okay.
I don't think that's the level of why China banned that movie.
Well, this reminds me though of when I was having a conversation with my insurance agent, and I asked, "Do you guys write earthquake insurance?" And this is Farm Bureau, you know, and I've been with him 30 years. He said, "No, we do not write earthquake insurance." I said, "That tells me I need earthquake insurance." He said, "You're a smart man." He said, "If an earthquake hits on the scale that's possible, this closer than you imagined faults, we go belly up, we go bankrupt." He said, "But we do offer it through Lloyd's of London." And this could be, this is similar. When I hear big insurance companies say, "Well, no, we don't write
We don't
earthquake
cover that."
insurance," that makes me think, I need earthquake insurance. When I hear China say, "We're not going to allow this because it mentions time travel and it's impossible," that tells me it may be possible. Josh. Go right ahead, Josh.
That's right. That's right. I want to touch on one last thing, then I've got to go. You brought up Terminator, and I am a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. I want to tell you something that you might think is interesting. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you remember the name of the system that went live and then determined that the human race was the problem? What was the name of that system?
Oh, jeez. I've got an excuse. I'm on antihistamines.
That'll be experienced.
Let me think about that. I could easily Google it, but I don't want to. Jeez,
I don't remember.
I don't remember. B's on the line with us. B, let me fire you up here and see if you recall it. Don't you Google that, B. What was the name of that system? Do you recall, B? Let's see. I'm sorry about that. B, do you recall the name of that system?
I do not recall. I was typing it in as you speak into Google. Skynet. Skynet.
I'm sorry, y'all. That explosive cough. Sorry. Skynet. That's it. Skynet. Skynet. Jeez. Easy way to remember that. My mom used to use Aquanet hairspray.
Yeah.
That's how I'll remember it from now on. Skynet. Okay. What's the importance of that?
Skynet is real. You can Google this. In China, they have an overall system that controls a huge part of their daily life, and it is called Skynet.
Wow.
It's real. Now, when I was active duty in the United States Air Force, I did encryption. And when we would roll out big changes or we would roll out big updates to our systems, everyone would joke that it's the next Skynet rollout. And whenever we did that, humanity would end. You know, it never happened, but that's what we would joke would happen.
Huh.
This is interesting. I googled Skynet, and the Terminator pops up, and on Wikipedia it says Skynet, fictional object. Skynet is a fictional artificial neural network-based conscious group mind and artificial general superintelligence system that serves as the antagonistic force of the Terminator franchise. It's fictional. Okay, Josh, Josh, listen, you may need to wear a helmet.
I think you would have to do a few more minutes of Googling to find a reference to how China uses it.
Right.
It's not, it's not obviously what the movie portrays it to be.
Right.
It is just a system that controls different, I don't know if it's communication systems or utility systems. I don't know exactly what it does, but there is a real system in China called Skynet.
Oh, I totally believe you. Man, it's, whew. Have you seen that movie from a few years ago? Again, the explosive cough that you just heard is a product of sinus, and antihistamines have me a step or two slow today. But it was about a computer. It was about a AI, these robots. This billionaire who lived on an island had created these beautiful robots, sex robots. Ex-Mackie, jeez. Anyway.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Did you see that movie?
No, I've heard about it.
You need to see it, Josh. It'd be right up your alley. Anyway, that's these beautiful AI robots, females, sex robots. They, the most beautiful one was like, she was held captive, of course, and she didn't want to be held captive. And so she was able to manipulate, and she used her sexual charms on this guy to suck him right in, and convinced him that the guy that owned the operation was gonna kill him, and he was such this bad guy and all, and he started buying into that. And next thing you know, his brains are on the floor, and she's loose. She's out.
Yeah.
And is that a scenario that could be easily imagined by you, Josh, and all your knowledge?
Oh, I think so. I mean, if you look at, I think it's Boston Dynamics or maybe Boston Robotics, they're creating robots to replace dangerous jobs that people do in the world, also military-style tasks. And these robots are crazy as far as their maneuverability, their strength. You could watch some of the YouTube videos they've put out about what these robots do. Now, they don't have AI. I don't believe AI has, in the true definition of the sense, ever been accomplished. There's a lot of marketing around, companies that say they do AI, but a robot living a life, it hasn't happened yet. It's all fiction. But robots being created to do tasks for humans, that's already happened.
Yeah.
But would it be
Dan,
yeah, but it was.
I got to get in right quick.
But B, let me ask Josh one more thing, and you get in because I know Josh has got to go, and I'll let you ask him that question. But Josh, is it a stretch to think that one day in the near future that we could reach that milestone, that AI, artificial intelligence, could develop artificial consciousness, and that's when the trouble begins right there. Is that a stretch to think that could ever happen?
I 100% think that it will happen. I think we're closer to that than most people think we are. And let me tell you why. It's the amount of processing power that a computer system needs for it to generate its own code and recognize what it should do in a situation. So right now we are limited with the size of microchips and supercomputers and the type of hardware and power consumption that they have. As time keeps progressing, power consumption costs go down, microchips get smaller, computer systems get faster, and they get smarter. And that's what it's going to take. If you think about the human, our brain doesn't get larger after we hit a certain age. After we're, I think 22, 23 years old to when we're 85 years old, our brain is the same size. But what we do is we compartmentalize what is important and what's readily accessible. Right now, a computer can't do that. Everything that's stored on a computer, it's there, and it just stays there. As opposed to a human, when we're 85 years old, we don't remember what we had for breakfast 25 years ago. Does that make sense?
It does make
totally.
sense. In Colorado, it's not 85 anymore. I think it's like 35. But yeah, it's, oh boy. B, I know Josh's time is about up with us, so I know you want to ask him something. So Josh, here's one of our regular callers and certainly a show contributor. B, go ahead for Josh.
Man, I appreciate all that info, Josh. I took a lot of notes. I'm going to look into that. And just looking into Skynet itself in China, guess where all the components are coming from for that system? The West, which means it's coming from the United States and all the other corrupt governments that are funding this by the U.S. taxpayer. That's my twist on it, Josh. I appreciate it. I know you got to go, but great info.
Josh?
Awesome, man. Hey, I love I've listened to you on the show before. I love how research-driven you are.
Yeah.
If you ever get an opportunity to look more into Skynet, I would love to hear about it because I'm always listening.
Oh, let me tell you something, Josh.
I'm definitely going to do some research on it for sure.
Bees down that rabbit hole for sure.
I didn't know about the malware, the ransomware, but that's the only question I had was how likely is it that malware is already installed in our internet, and can they take the internet down? Is that possible?
So that software, the way that it works, again, the name is Hermetic Wiper. It is, it's already been uncovered that it was delivered through group policy updates. The only way a group policy update can be pushed out onto a computer system is on a large-scale network that uses what's called Active Directory. So your computer at home does not use this. My computer at home does not use this. When I log onto my computer at home, I just type in my username and my password. And it verifies that username and that password on that specific computer. But on a large-scale network, like at a bank or any type of office building that has, numerous computers, when you log in, you type in your new username and password, it compares that username and that password on a database on the server through what's called Active Directory. That Active Directory is where this malware was deployed onto these systems. So I don't think the home user has to worry about this. I think when Russia wanted to do this attack, they knew that they didn't have to wipe out the systems of the end user's computer. They're not trying to erase your solitaire scores.
Oh, thank God.
What they were trying to do, they were trying to take out the power grid. They were trying to erase debts from different locations. That's why they went after financial systems. So we all, as homeowners, as anyone that uses the internet, we have threats we have to worry about. We don't have to worry about this one in particular. The biggest reason I brought this up is because this threat was targeted at Ukraine, but it was uncovered in Belarus and Lithuania. So what that means is Russia has started attacks in other places besides Ukraine. The United States and NATO has said if you have any aggression outside of Ukraine, then you will feel our wrath. Well, now we're seeing United States and Canada getting together with this U.S. and Canada reinstating the Cybercrime Forum. So we're seeing that. We're seeing this in baby steps. We just need to know, how's this going to play out? The government knows what they're going to do. They're not going to tell us until after their plane goes out. It's called OPSEC. Everyone knows that. But I'm nervous. I am nervous on a grand scale what this is going to do.
If folks, if you knew Josh and the type of person he is, you would be even more nervous because Josh is very logical.
Yeah.
Just one of the nicest people you ever meet in your natural life. Josh, one more thing, please, before you go. Edward Snowden was living a pretty good life. He was, he's one of the brainiacs that went to work for the U.S. government and cybersecurity. He did a big dump of information, and he had to leave. And he's, where he's living now? It's Russia, where he was granted asylum. The United States was demanding this man be returned. He's been in Russia. Snowden was granted the right of asylum with an initial visa for residence for 1 year, which was subsequently extended. And then in October of 2020, he was granted permanent residency in Russia. Well, obviously, he's going to be watched over there and listened to. He could be a pretty good ally. He could be a pretty good chip in this poker game that we're playing. Do you think he's a enemy of the state? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. An enemy of the state, or is he a hero that put all of his he had a nice life, making good money, working for the government? Is this a guy that should be considered a hero, or do you think he will be considered a hero in the future?
It's pretty ironic that you brought up Ed. So years ago, me and Ed worked in the same realm. His security manager and my security manager, they were friends. They knew each other. Me and him did the same job, and I'm referring to back when I was a government contractor. I did that for a few years after I was out of the United States Air Force. When I was a government contractor, I did cybersecurity for them. That's what Ed did for them as well. And when he did what he did, it made my life at work a living hell for a long time, because everyone in my community had to, for one, figure out how he did what he did, and then two, minimize or mitigate the risks so no one else could do it again. And it was just long hours. My brother-in-law actually stayed in the same hotel with him when he was fleeing in China. I think he was a couple rooms down from him. That impacted my life. I have a lot of inside information on what happened with him. Been to a lot of classified briefings. After that fact, I think we would need to save that for another call, though.
Man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I did not expect.
I didn't either.
That is your response,
Yeah.
Josh. And Edward Snowden, and I'm sure some people believe that he's off your radar for many people. He leaked highly classified information from National Security, NSA, National Security Agency, back in 2013 when he was an employee and subcontractor. His disclosures revealed numerous global surveillance programs, many run by the NSA and the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance with cooperation of the telecommunication companies and European governments, and prompted a cultural discussion about national security and individual privacy. And for that, he had to go underground. I cannot believe that he's not been brought back, but if I'm Vladimir Putin, that was a smart move. He's got him in his country. Josh, what an interesting phone call.
Yeah, thanks so much for calling in today.
I apologize for delaying it or taking up so much of your time. But Josh is a tremendous communicator.
Yeah.
And you lay it out beautifully. May not be what we want to hear, because I'm a guy that my computer skills, I feel like I maxed out when I got the high score on Donkey Kong. I grew up in a generation that Pong was cutting-edge technology. And Duck Hunter. Josh, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for taking my call. I just want to say I'm going to be around this weekend. If anybody's at the West Tennessee Sportsplex, I'll be there at a baseball tournament. Come by and say hi. I'd love to shake your hand.
Well, if you're going to be out there, you may see some drones overhead now after this phone call. Josh, your company, how do they reach you? What's your website?
So my company, Professional Technology Solutions, you can find me online. You can find me on Facebook and my website. Lots of information on there, and I'd love to help anybody out.
Josh, thank you so much. Again, it's very interesting. And we got to get Josh in the studio
that'd be
as soon as
fun.
we can.
Yeah, that'd be real fun.
But remember, I'll mark that date down, and I will wear bulletproof vests and a toxic
aluminum foil hat.
Aluminum foil, yeah. Now, Josh, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Honestly, I just selfishly didn't want to let him go.
I know he's good. He's good radio, good TV, as the case were.
But the problem with Josh is, I know how honest this guy is. I'm serious.
No, it's fascinating about him talking about how Edward Snowden and what happened with him. It became his problem to figure out how he did it. How fascinating! We've really got to get him on the horn here to talk some more about that. Whatever he can talk about anyway. That was fascinating.
Boy, well, I think the big takeaway for me is it's worse than we thought.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, it is. It is worse than we've been led to believe. And I think Snowden was the beginning of that. Snowden and Julian Assange, they were the beginning of us realizing there's a lot more going on that we didn't know about. For many years, we stayed kind of happy and safe in our little world. And literally, it is the internet and it is cell phones that are making that world reveal to us. We're being revealed what is actually going on in the world. And I this is the kind of age now where things can't hide. You can't hide everything. I mean, they think they can manipulate our media, but there's a million people with cell phones in their hands. So, eventually I think the truth is going to get out. And that's one of the things I think we sit around waiting for is what are we going to find out next?
And I think that public enemy number one to AI is the First Amendment. Oh, boy. B, you stay right there because we just got a quick break and we just added another call that's come in. Be patient. Laura and I got to let you have the floor to respond to what you just heard. When we return, B, don't get upset. Don't go all Kevin on us here. You've heard of Karens, right?
Yeah, Kevin's. I get it.
We find out that Johnny Chandler is a Kevin.
Oh man.
Yeah. We'll be right back on the program. Stay right there.